Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. We started off with my boy, MJF. And long story short, because this was a long one, MJF obviously talking about everybody that he's beaten throughout the company and how he was a top guy in his company. Obviously, he got injured, so he's been gone, and now he's back. And yes, he was one of the most hated guys in AEW, but then he became one of the most beloved guys with that whole bro chacho thing that he was doing with Adam Cole. But that's all over. Now, while he's talking and saying all these great things about him, and obviously definitely want to creep back into the main event scene, here comes our boy Roosh, who comes out, who takes a dig at Americans and basically say, Max, you're always talking, and he's tired of hearing him. He says, well, Max, while you were gone, that he was holding shit down here in AEW. And I was just like, when? Where? I think I've only seen Roosh in the ring, at least in AEW, 3 times this year. 3 times that I can remember. And tonight being one of those times that he's actually been out. Honestly, I don't even know what they were doing with Roosh. But since he's come back, he's had a few squash matches. And it's just like, okay, are y'all gearing to give him a nice little push? But then now here we have Roosh and MJF. And I'm just like, oh, well, I don't see Roosh coming on top in a situation with MJF, but let's see what happens here. They get into getting back and forth with each other. MJF go ahead and tells him in Spanish, go fuck your mama. And then boom, the two of them get into a little scuffle. Then we have top flight security of AEW come, and they are stopping this whole thing. Christopher Daniels is coming out here too, and he's really getting into that role of whatever role it was that TK had gave him, and they are struggling to keep these two guys away from each other. And I'm just like, there's like 50 of y'all out here. How are y'all struggling to keep these two guys away from each other? I have no clue. Where are they going with this? Well, I do believe that they're going to end up having a match, and I do think that this is going to be a really great matchup, Roosh versus MJF. Will that be at the pay-per-view? I don't see why it would be. I only want to see things in terms of this forbidden door being open at the pay-per-view. So nothing with AEW wrestler versus an AEW wrestler, I think, should be on this whole thing for Forbidden Door. Now, we have this video package that they're doing of Roderick Strong where they're climbing, I don't know, not a mountain, but a hill or something. Whatever the situation is, I would love to have best friends like Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, just one side on my shoulder, and they're hyping me up with everything that I'm doing. I really do feel like they're a great fit for each other. I think from here, we don't need to see Wardlow with that group. Adam Cole, we know you're not in that group anymore after what happened at Double or Nothing. So honestly, just let it just be the three of them, and that's it. We don't need anyone else. They're a really great team together, those three. Now, first match of the night really feels like they put it together last second. Like when I say last second, I mean very last second. We had Jay Lethal versus Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy versus Ray Phoenix. And whoever wins this becomes the number one contender for the AEW International Championship. Will Ospreay is not here tonight, thank God. He is wherever he's at home or whatever situation is. So now there's an opportunity for these sport guys to, possibly win a chance to go against Will Ospreay next week for Dynamite. Now, I knew for a fact that Kyle O'Reilly wouldn't be the one to win because he already had his opportunity the other day with Will Ospreay. Then I was just like, maybe Orange Cassidy. But then again, Ray Phoenix took a win on Rampage the other day, and Ray Phoenix ended up taking this match. This was a really interesting match. In my opinion, I would have loved to see Jay Lethal have an opportunity because out of everybody in this match, Jay Lethal, he does nothing. Unfortunately, absolutely nothing. Definitely a really talented wrestler. He's great. However, I have not seen anything of importance since he's been in AEW. I don't know what they're doing with this guy. Ray Phoenix takes the win, but it would have been cool to see Jay Lethal in a situation where he can show the best of himself with one of the best wrestlers in the company, Will Ospreay. That would have been lovely to see, but that's not what we're getting here. We're getting Ray Phoenix versus Will Ospreay next week for Dynamite. Aren't you just happy about that? So now the match is over, and Orange Cassidy bum ass is still in the ring, and here comes our boy Deacon Trent Beretta coming out with Uncle Don. And I'm just like, yes, he's coming here to beat the hell out of Orange Cassidy. I can't wait. But then Trent Beretta gets in the ring and he stops. He doesn't go anywhere. Orange Cassidy's outside of the ring. And instead of just walking all the way to Orange Cassidy, stomping his ass out, beat him up, whatever the situation is, Trent literally just walks into the ring and just stand there. And I'm just like, so what? You act like you were all about it, but really you just came into the ring just to watch Orange Cassidy outside the ring. Like, if you're gonna come out here and try to be a threat, you should have went out there and literally put your hands on Orange Cassidy. Now, here comes our girl, Chris Statlander, who comes out, and they get into it with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy ends up getting punched by Chris Statlander, and I'm still just kind of looking at a situation where it's just like, Trent Beretta, you still not going to do anything? I don't understand what that was. Chris Statlander, she ends up leaving, and then Stokely gets on her back, and they end up making it to the back, which is so interesting. That was funny. Before this, I did forget this. Willow Nightingale did come out to put her hands on Chris Statlander, and obviously Statlander ends up making it out before anything can happen physically with them. So it looks like we're getting this thing where we have Orange Cassidy with Willow, and then we have Deacon Beretta with Chris Statlander, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. You guys know that Tony Khan has mentioned of having interest in having a mixed tag championship. So obviously 1 woman, 1 man being in a team. So is this a way to go for it? That's probably what they're going to do. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. So now we have Christopher Daniels, who is letting us know that there is a new TNT qualifying match. So whoever wins that gets to advance on. This whole thing with the TNT title, I have no clue. What's the bracket for this? Like, how do we know, what matches are coming on and then who's going against who? And it's just a really weird thing that's going on right now that I feel like it's not making sense to me. Now, the next match that they have for the TNT Championship qualifying match is Brian Cage versus Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe, where have you been, hon? We haven't seen you in a minute. You have won the Ring of Honor World title, which is the biggest prize in Ring of Honor, yet we have not seen you since you won that title, which absolutely sucks. So it was interesting to me because I'm just like, okay, Brian Cage got this. He should win this. But here is Mark Briscoe taking the win. And I'm just like, what logic does this make? Mark Briscoe has the biggest title in Ring of Honor. Yeah, I won't even put that motherfucker on the show, but you bring him on Dynamite so you can take an opportunity away from someone like Brian Cage, who can actually advance, who doesn't have a title, who doesn't have shit from AEW since the moment he's been there. Why not put him in a position where he can advance to possibly win a TNT title? Do I see it happening? No. But would it be great for it to have actually happened? Yeah, I would love to see Brian Cage making something useful in terms of him having a singles run. Something about it, his time being there, I feel like they have definitely not taken to the full advantage, which is just so weird to me. I just don't understand it. Now, Mark wins, and I'm just like, I don't understand why. I love Mark Briscoe, but we have to think in terms here of, I don't know. I have no clue. During that match, Jackson Perry is watching from backstage, and I'm just like, why? Well, okay, fine. Later on, we do get to hear from Jack Perry, who says he's already, that he should be the, next TNT champion. And it seemed like maybe he already secured a spot in this whole thing. I have no clue. The whole thing is so confusing with this TNT title thing that they're not just laying the law and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. These are the people who's in it. And then so people can have a clear picture of what route they're going when it comes to the TNT title. And honestly, no freaking clue what's happening here. After this, we do have Hook and Samoa Joe backstage. Samoa Joe looked like he's babysitting Hook. And then while he's talking, here comes the Premier Athletes coming to interrupt. And they end up snatching Hook's bag of chips out of his hands. And that just sets him off because he don't want nobody touching his chips. And I'm just like, I'm bored, Tony Khan. I am bored. So several times throughout the night, we have the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, along with Big Bill and Brian Keith, just pretty much just walking around the fucking building. Like Chris Jericho literally said it the other day that he's gonna stop doing commentary so he can focus on being on 3 to 4 segments per week. And he was not lying when he said that. Well, you said per week, but I didn't know you were gonna mean per night. And honestly, I was annoyed with seeing Chris Jericho several times a night. But I have to say, Brian Keith absolutely looks like a sore thumb in this situation. And I'm not trying to say this to be biased. I really do feel like he does not fit with this group. I truly don't understand what's the point. We even saw Chris Jericho at catering. We saw Chris Jericho coming into the building. He even had a word with Private Party, told them that they're nothing but losers, so they should come on over to the Learning Tree little segment show that he has in the ring with a little fake grass and fake tree, and that they should be on his show next week. They really don't want to be on it, and honestly, I can totally understand why they wouldn't want to. Now, we also get a promo from Swerve, obviously about being in the main event later on with Roderick Strong. And then we have our boys. Our boys are back. The whole crew is back. Blackpool Combat Club versus the guys from CMLL. I'm not even going to try to remember everybody's name right now. This was really great to see Yuta back in the ring, and he's looking great. And oh man, just seeing him made me feel really, really great because he was out for 6 months dealing with issues with concussions, and it's great to see him back in the ring. And obviously being cleared and being healthy, that's what matters. You better pull up on Ring of Honor and put that pure title on the line because we have not seen you in that title in 6 months. Let's get it together, Billy Yuta. Really great match, and it was a great way to show how well the Blackpool Combat Club still works together. They're obviously happy that Wheeler Yuta is there. Wheeler Yuta even ends up taking the win for the team. And it's just funny because Wheeler Yuta has, despite them obviously loving Wheeler, they always give him that brotherly tough love. Like he's the youngest out of the brothers. And even whenever they have to take an L as a team, Wheeler Yuta is always the one to take the L for the team. But this time, for once, we see Wheeler Yuta taking the W for the team. And it was great. Claudio ends up putting Wheeler Yuta on his shoulders and they're celebrating. And it's great to see them. Can't wait to see what happens later on. In terms of BCC. Later on, we do have Bryan Danielson, who's basically letting everybody know that, you know, his time as a full-time wrestler is not yet up. He wants the big one. The big one. Yes, he wants to get his hands on the world title. Now, they did add this in. To win the Owen Hart Cup, you get a opportunity to face the champion for the world title after winning. They don't go too much in details, but that's new. That's not something that they've done in the other 2 previous years. So this is definitely a new thing. So now Brian is saying, hey, motherfuckers, I'm in the Owen Hart tournament. So watch out. I'm trying to make it all the way to the top, win this thing, and then get my hand on the world title, which he has never done in AEW. And I can see that being a possibility for him since this is Bryan Danielson we're talking about. Like, I can see that happening. Now, we do have a video package of Daniel Garcia. They showed back when he had his car accident a few years ago. A really horrific car accident. They didn't even think he'd ever walk again. And here he is. He's a wrestler. He's doing his thing. And it was nicely done. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, you see something really great like this, and then you see what Daniel Garcia can do in the ring, and you're just kind of hoping that all this is like for like not nothing. Hopefully he ends up winning something, not just winning a match, but Daniel Garcia, if we can get him back to doing more, you know, I could see him winning a title. Remember, he had the pure title. He's somebody that I think that could win an international title or even a TNT title in a year or so. But right now, I don't know where Daniel Garcia fits in this, but he had a really great video package. Now, the Acclaim comes out and they want to do the little rap or whatever the hell they were coming out for. God knows. But the Young Bucks finally do something worth, clapping for them. They end up cutting the whole rap thing and basically saying, no, get to the back. We don't want to hear y'all rapping. Thank God. I am over it with Acclaim. I'm over it. Now, after the commercial break, we do have the Young Bucks are backstage, and our stepdaddy Christian and the whole group, they all come on over there, Basically, Christian is saying he deserved to have a rematch, and the Young Bucks are just like, hey, we running things in here, but we not running things up in here. So we'll see what we can do for you. You scratch our backs, we scratch your backs, and we'll see what we can do. And honestly, I think this is a really great alliance to have. Like two heel entities coming together and just being absolutely annoying. So let's see what ends up happening with that group. Maybe our stepdaddy might get a rematch. Maybe, probably not. So after this, we do have the ladies in action. We do have Mariah May versus Saraya, and this was a really great match. I'm still kind of like, I don't understand why we keep doing one women's match a night. Doesn't make sense. There's too much time for them not to be having another women's match. But whatever, still great, entertaining. Toni Storm comes out. She has a dress on. She looks great, amazing. Oh my gosh, she's just so pretty. Oh Lord. Mariah May this time is wearing Outcast Toni Storm's gear. So once again, it's just Mariah being Toni. Great match with the ladies. I really did appreciate the fact that Saraya, she looks a little bit more comfortable in the ring. I feel like we haven't seen her much. We had Harley Cameron and her brother Zach ringside, which was great too. I think they need to feature them a lot more, especially Zach getting into AEW. He's someone that I think could use more TV time, whether if Saraya is there or not. My opinion though, this whole thing, the match, it's whatever. I can understand why this came about. What really I think people should be paying attention to here is that our girl Toni Storm already has a match for Forbidden Door. She's going against Mina from Stardom. There are things that are going on, especially with the New Japan stuff, that are happening outside of AEW. So if you're not following up the New Japan shows or Stardom shows, or if you're not looking on social media, you're not going to know what's going on. They've already had this thing over the weekend where Toni Storm had sent a video package over in Japan where after Mina's match, she's basically saying, hey, you and me at Forbidden Door, that she would like to have a match with her. They don't show this on AEW, but they end up basically saying it's official, that the two of them will go after each other, for the title. Mina does come out after the match, and Mariah is in between both Mina and Toni Storm. She doesn't know who to choose. So if you don't know who to choose them both. We'll see what ends up happening here. Mina will be facing Serena Deeb on Rampage. And that's going to be interesting to see which one of these girls actually takes the win here. Serena has already taken a loss. I don't see Mina taking a L. Now, okay, main event. Roderick Strong versus our boy Swerve Strickland. And this was really good. So good. So good. It takes me back to the moment where Roderick won the international title. And I'm just thinking, they should never have taken it off of him. I really feel like Roderick has been proving himself, not just when he won the title, but even after losing the title, he's been having really great matches. And you're looking at this guy and you're just like, why? Why did they take it off of him? I get it. Will Ospreay, he's coming over. They handed him everything that he could possibly want in the company or whatever. But really, Roderick was a really great choice. And he could have literally been holding on to that title still right now. Now, the match of him, them having this match actually came about so weird. Roderick says he was supposed to be part of that gauntlet match, and unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to come out by the time Will Ospreay ended up winning that gauntlet match. So since he didn't get a chance to get in the match, then he should have a title shot against Swerve Strickland. This was just so weird. He actually went to go tell Tony Khan that the other night when Tony Khan vowed that he wasn't going to be on the show, and that's why Christopher Daniels was supposed to be this interim CEO. And it's like, bro, why you keep showing up to the shows? You said you wasn't going to be here, but you're here. Whatever situation is, Roderick bullied his way into getting that match. So here we are with the main event. Swerve is looking amazing. Oh, by the way, there's this granny who was sitting front row who has her, all elite sign and swerving while she's driving, which I hope, Granny, I hope you're not swerving and driving at the same time, because that's a problem. She was so cute over there in the front. Huge Swerve Strickland fan, having a great time. enjoying the match, just enjoying the show. And I think a lot of people can take some notes from Granny, because a lot of times we watch these shows and people just sit there and acting like they didn't pay to be there. But Granny was having a great time throughout the show, and I definitely can appreciate that. That's gonna be me in like 40 or something years from now. Now, great match. Obviously, the Undisputed Kingdom is ringside, so they're making things difficult for Swerve, and it pretty much becomes a handicap match. And Swerve just having to beat the odds, and going through all three of these guys. While Aubrey Edwards obviously is not doing her job as an official, so she's basically not seeing how involved Matt and Mike are. But damn, Mike Bennett, I don't know what you're doing in terms of your diet and what you're doing in the gym. Every time I see this guy, he's looking even better. So kudos to you. Wow, just amazing physique. Either way, we do have Swerve end up winning the match. It's just that house call that he did on Roderick. When I tell you, you probably could have heard it from the parking lot. I really mean it. It was so freaking loud, crazy, scary. It was really great to see Roderick be able to do not just the main event, but also to be in a world title match. He wasn't gonna win, but to see his performance, like that's why I said, like seeing this, you're just like, wow, he literally had an international title, and this guy, he is championship material. He really is. I know it would take some time before he can get his hands on the world title, but that international title was just great for him, and I'm just absolutely appalled at Tony Khan just taking titles away from people like Roderick or Willow Nightingale, who only had that thing for almost a month before she had to pretty much give it to Mercedes. And it's just pretty wild to me. A lot of people deserve to have their hands on titles and things like that. But when they already have them and you're taking it to give it to as, like, I don't know, consolation prizes to the new people, it sucks. After the match, we do have Swerve and Prince Nana celebrating with Granny ringside. It was great. Great way to end off the show. And I do appreciate finally having Swerve being in the main event. That's what you do with, the champions. And I really did appreciate that. Did I enjoy the show from top to bottom? At times, things felt like out of place, or we could have taken some things out, like all them segments with Chris Jericho. We probably could have did one or two Jericho segments, but I need to see him all night. Other than that, there's just some things that, once again, AEW, they need some help. And I really do hope Tony Khan is watching Who Killed WCW, because I see a lot of similarities just watching that show. And just only 1 hour of the whole series. We still got 3 more episodes to go with that series. And I'm just watching and I'm just like, holy shit, I hope he's watching, because there are some things he could take from here. But guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor. See you guys then. Bye.